Xilonen and Chiori banners are here and will be followed by Nahida and Hutao. So in this round of F2P Slaughter, the age-old question arrives again. Just who to pull for? Who do we get? Who do we skip? And how will we make that decision? So yeah, to solve all that dilemma once and for all, let's answer all these questions. For the version 5.1, the bigger characters are definitely Xilonen and Nahida. Ironically, Hutao is yet another good character, but for her, it's pretty simple. You want a pyro DPS and you don't like Arlecchino, you can go for her. As for Chiori, she's a good Geo sub DPS and somewhat working DPS, but she works with the older Geo meta, the physical damage in disguise one that everyone is already bored of anyway, so unless you still play the old Geo teams like Ito or whatever, Chiori is an easy skip. And that finally brings us to the elephant in the room. The big two for this patch, big, Xilonen and Nahida. Now I just want to let you know that at the making of this video, I don't have the final exact numbers for Xilonen, so all the information I have to share is based on the creator server experience and whatever they talked about during the 5.1 special program. So based on everything we know so far, Xilonen is exactly what people feared her to be, a Kazuha replacement. No! I often find this interesting that two characters who do similar things are categorized as replacements, which though to a certain extent is true, but I don't believe you should look at it like that. Like say you have Yelan who works very similar to Xingqiu, and by some horrid misfortune you didn't manage to get him yet. Yes, you can use her in his place. But what's even better is when you consider putting them together. The thing with characters is whatever they do for your team, it stacks. If you have Benny on your team to buff your attack and you put Mona next to him, she'll do her own thing too. More damage. Xilonen does work very similar to Kazuha. She shreds resistance, which is goated, and gives damage bonus very much like Kazuha. But she also heals, which technically makes her a better match for team comps with Furina. Kazuha on the other hand is a great grouper. But what I'd like to do, double Kazuha. If we put both of them in a team together, that's almost double the resistance shred and damage bonus, so why not? Plus, I'm sure we've all felt that one time where we wished we could have another Kazuha for our second team, so now we can. Well, almost anyway. So does that mean that Xilonen is actually superior to Kazuha? Well, I think they're both pretty well balanced. She has some benefits to herself, while Kazuha has his own. Kazuha has a much better grouper due to the nature of how his skill works and just animo in general, while Xilonen also has the ability to heal. Kazuha's burst can constantly swirl the element to keep the shred going, while Xilonen can shred resistance on newly spawned enemies without having to do really anything. So is Xilonen the one to go for this patch? But then what about... Nahida till now is the best dendro support in this game, with no other character coming anywhere close to her greatness. I mean, just put her in any dendro team, Hyper Bloom, Aggravate, Bloom, she slays. And add to that, she's by far one of the best sub DPSs as well. So that just makes things even more complicated. As we know, both Kazuha and Xilonen needs to react with an element to both shred resistance and provide damage bonus. And as of this moment, neither Animo nor Geo can react with dendro. Although in my opinion, Leaf should really be the easiest thing to swirl, but it is what it is, I guess. So is that it? If you care about dendro, go for Nahida, otherwise Xilonen. Well, after all this, it comes down to how you play the game and what characters you use. If you're on elemental races and just don't use dendro teams at all, like some people I know, you really don't even need to think about it, just go for Xilonen. Another thing to consider is if you already have Kazuha or not. Having two Kazuha is nice, but not having even one Nahida is worse. If you already have Kazuha, though Xilonen would still be a pretty good addition to your account and useful for many team comps, I'd recommend you secure yourself a Nahida first. After all, another thing to consider is unless Xilonen gets the Risley treatment, she should get a rerun in the next 4 to 5 patches. However, all the Archons won't be getting a rerun until version 6.0, so you'll have another opportunity to get a Xilonen sooner than Nahida. And if this isn't enough reason for you to consider Nahida as a valuable investment, check out my other Nahida video I made for her last rerun, where I discussed her kit in more details. However, aside from that, for a full patch comparison again, I think you can skip both Chiori and Hutao for this patch and should focus on either Xilonen and Nahida. And in that one situation where you already have all the rest of the characters, or the characters that you would like to have anyway, then should you pull for Xilonen or save for future characters? At this moment, I don't have a lot of information about the kit or the characters for the next patches, but based on the information we got at the 5.0 special program, it seems for the first time ever we might not see the debut of an Archon in the second version, that is X.2, or in this scenario 5.2 version of the update, but instead in version 5.3. If nothing else, you'd have enough time to farm for Morvika anyway, and in my opinion that might be the only character for whom you'd want to skip someone like Xilonen. Despite however crazy damage Molani and Kenichi might be dealing right now, let me tell you this right away, Xilonen is the biggest, most goated character of Natlan at the moment. So this isn't a character you want to miss out on if you can. So that was everything I had for this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, and before I continue, I just want to tell you this right away, that was just my own subjective opinion based on these characters and how they function and my own knowledge on this game. But at the end of the day, it is a game and you should pull for whoever you want without having to think twice about it if you want to go for that character. If out of any of these 4 characters there's one character that you just really want, shouldn't matter what the meta is or what the other character can do for your account, just go for that character and enjoy the bloody game without having to worry too much about it. Other than that, I just hope I didn't end up confusing you even more than you already were, but if that happened, feel free to reach out to me in the comments. Also, a full Xilonen guide will be coming out on the channel after her release, so subscribe. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.